by this agreement, whether it's directly or through
we get the point.
Okay.
I want to push you along a little bit so other people can talk. I was going to limit people to 3 minutes or less.
Last point, and here's the last point.
488 members.
And Bruce, if you could just get to the point, because I want to, allow.
The point is,
we don't want you to go over your 3 minutes.
Yep. Our covenants say I expect there'll be several more in the future.
So do you have a suggestion for us?
And the others are working on it. And we know that. So we realize that lots of neighborhoods are already protected. And my point is that.
And parking plans do not seem to be defined in the best interest of the neighborhood in this ordinance as written. Will there be added patrols?
Are you recommending a change to the ordinance? I think we'd like to get to that. We know about all the problems. People have brought them up to us.
But these problems then should be addressed in the ordinance. Exemption to 1702A.
We've taken that out.
You already took that out? Okay,
out.
thank you.
Okay, good. Anything
I think
else?
there needs to be.
This weekend we had a wedding where we had more than 10 people in the home.
And hold on, we know about all these stories. We've heard a lot.
But there's
of them.
no.
Are you recommending something for us in this ordinance?
Yes, to have the code enforcement people coming around all over the place.
Well, and we are going to part of the revenue that we're going to collect from the
3 times as many if you don't cap this thing.
Yeah, so Ed, you're suggesting limit STRs to owner occupied.
What part of renting a home for 1 to 30 days is wholly or primarily permanent?
So I'm trying to get at what you're asking.
To add a primary residence requirement, because I have another point to make.
That's a valid point. Is there anything else that you'd like to recommend? And not to tell us, what we should and shouldn't do in a general way, because then we don't have the ability to change the ordinance.
I was supposed to prepare a 3-minute speech. So
okay,
I have another point I want to make, though.
And/or the covenant as it stands, so that that way they're not
that's a really good point. And
there's X number of percent that vote to cancel the HOA.
No, but that's a good point, Bill. Thank you.
Over the last since the initiation of the house. Since I've lived there.
By the way, that wouldn't be legal. If that happened, you could complain.
And that's when the trash is full. So it does not address that issue.
Well, and there will be an ordinance we're talking about for the west side that's going to require people to have bear-proof garbage cans.
There's different, I'm not sure if you investigated the wiring codes for safety.
So let me see if I got you right here.
To have a way to see that, because if I call the manager, there's no proof of that.
Yeah. So the health department does that for restaurant inspection.
There is almost non-existent low-income housing for these people. So they're out on the street.
Are you suggesting that we ban them altogether? Or?
Jill Johnson.
Okay.
Jill,
it's listed on that site, and they show pictures of partying people all over the house yard. So that's my concern.
That's something we should address no matter what.
Please.
All right, everybody. I thank you for your patience, and sorry if I was abrupt today.
We find the majority of the ordinance as presented very favorable.
What is it that you don't find favorable?
When we see members of their upper echelon making statements.
And I don't think we need to even get into that.
Somebody that understands the younger generation and some of the things that they desire. No, actually.
And if you could get to the ordinance, that'd be great.
We just decided to put her in a different school, so we've moved. We purchased another property in town.
Lisa, I just want you, and we know this is a...
Okay, so, but the problem is, I guess, all the arguments that you hear about that, it's fake news. You're hearing a lot of fake news and the fear, and that's obviously been brought to point.
Well, great. And so you'd like the ordinance the way it is right now?
This is the way the world is going, short-term rentals. So it's a lot for you guys to consider, but...
So are you okay with the ordinance as is?
First question, are home values negatively impacted?
You know, in Chad, if you could keep it to the ordinance, that would be great.
Do STRs bring more violent crime? Now, this has been one of the issues that has been brought before us.
Maybe you should drop that off, but I don't think that we're going to be making a decision about that one way or the other.
Sure.
So I just,
If I could just add this last piece about crime, and then I'll be done.
Okay, good.
If amendments are going to be proposed for this ordinance later on, it should be put up for a public vote.
And we will, by the way.
There was an article in the Wall Street Journal that described a host that lost a lot of his STRs over
you know,
noise
Nathan,
disputes.
we're not going to address that either, but I don't mean to interrupt, but I think...
I believe there's probably quite a few that...
Okay, and Ryan, just wanted to wrap it up if I could.
Yeah, so the help with enforcement, right?
So you think this is reasonable, how it's...
we have scaling problems with...
And that's not there anymore, yeah.
What's that? Oh, it's gone?
That's gone, yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Anything else?
And paid a substantial sum and then pay a lesser amount each successive year.
And we may do that,
That was then sold when my wife retired.
And Doug, we wanted to hear your story, but if there's something specific about this ordinance, that would be helpful.
Okay, I've got over $200,000 put into this house.
And are you okay with this ordinance? Is there
I
anything
don't
you'd
like
to...
the ordinance because my house already meets those criteria.
Okay. And there's nothing that you want us to change?
But if you put it in as a primary resident, I'm done.
Okay.
I need to try and find someone who wants to do a long-term rental on a 6-bedroom house.
And that's not being that's not even being proposed. But I hear
but
you
we
on
keep
that.
talking about it.
Well, somebody does. Is there something that one of you wants to say that hasn't been said before? And I really apologize.
Let me tell you a quick story. I had one of my neighbors, 4 houses down.
If we're going to go over, can we stick to the point?
Yeah, I think we're going over. Is there anything you want us to change in this ordinance very briefly?
We can live with it. The caps, no caps.
No caps and no owner occupied.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I think I better cut it off or I'm going to have the rest of council mad at me.